What if you could walk into chaos and feel peace? What if every setback became fuel instead of frustration? That's not fantasy. That's Stoicism, a 2,000-year-old mental framework practiced by emperors, warriors, and philosophers, now backed by modern psychology. Today, we're not just talking about ancient philosophy. We're training your mind for daily power, the Stoic way. Welcome back to the Mental Gym, where we sharpen minds, build discipline, and unlock unstoppable clarity. In this episode, you'll learn how to stop reacting and start choosing. Let's begin your Stoic transformation, one mindset shift at a time. Let's clear something up first. Stoicism is not about suppressing emotion. It's not about being cold, robotic, or detached from life. True Stoicism is about emotional mastery, not emotional denial. It teaches you how to respond with reason instead of reacting with impulse. It's about freedom, the kind that comes when you realize that your power lies not in what happens to you, but in how you respond. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor, said it best. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Stoicism isn't passive. It's a mental armor, a way to remain grounded in a world that constantly tries to pull you off center. And today, we're going to bring that ancient clarity into your modern life in practical, powerful ways. Stoicism isn't something you learn once and file away. It's a daily practice, a mental workout, just like training your body at the gym. The ancient Stoics journaled, reflected, repeated phrases, and reviewed their behavior daily. Why? Because they understood that self-mastery requires repetition. You want mental strength? Then you need mental reps. Think of it this way. You wouldn't expect a six-pack from doing one workout, so why expect resilience from hearing one motivational quote? Daily Stoic practice means training your thoughts every morning before the world hijacks your mindset. It could be one question. What's in my control today and what isn't? That simple awareness is the start of real freedom. Because once you focus only on what's within your control, you stop wasting energy and start building unshakable inner power. Here's the first Stoic principle you need to internalize. Control what you can. Let go of what you can't. Sounds simple, right? But most people live in the exact opposite mindset. They stress over traffic. They argue with strangers online. They spiral when plans change. They rage when people don't meet their expectations. The Stoics would call that madness. Why waste your energy fighting things you have zero power over? Epictetus, one of the great Stoic teachers, said, "There is only one way to happiness. Stop worrying about things beyond your control." Modern stress isn't caused by events. It's caused by your attachment to controlling them. When you stop trying to control the outcome, you unlock full control over your response. And in that response lies your power. The Stoics had a mental filter they used every single day. It was called the dichotomy of control. Everything that happens in life goes into one of two buckets. Things I can control, things I cannot. That's it. Your thoughts, you control them. Your actions, you control them. Other people's opinions, not your job. The weather, traffic, outcomes, nope. The moment you apply this filter, life becomes clearer. You stop reacting emotionally to things that don't belong to you. And when your brain gets used to separating those two categories, you start saving energy and making decisions from a place of power, not panic. It's like a mental detox. You remove the noise and keep the focus. Here's a Stoic technique most people have never heard of, and it might change your life forever. It's called negative visualization. Sounds dark? It's not. It's powerful. The Stoics would intentionally imagine losing what they love, their freedom, their health, their relationships, even their own lives. Why? Because by imagining loss, they gained deep appreciation for what they had and prepared their minds to face anything. He robs present ills of their power who has perceived their coming beforehand. Seneca. Today, we call this mental resilience. It's not about becoming numb, it's about being ready. It's about not being shocked by life, but strong enough to handle it when it hits. The Stoics believed that true strength is built by choosing discomfort before discomfort chooses you. They practiced what they called voluntary hardship. That meant sleeping on the floor, wearing old clothes, going without food for a day, not because they were punishing themselves, but because they wanted to prove something. I can endure this. I don't need more. I'm stronger than my circumstances. You don't need to sleep on rocks to be stoic. But try this. Skip the hot water once a week. Leave your phone at home for the day. Say no to something easy and yes to something hard. Why? Because when you build a life of comfort, you create a mind of weakness. But when you choose challenge, you become unshakable. Modern life teaches us to avoid pain. The Stoics taught the opposite. Don't run from difficulty. Run toward it with discipline. Most people pray for easier circumstances, but the Stoic prays for a stronger mindset. Marcus Aurelius wrote in his journal, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." In other words, the obstacle is the path. Next time you face something frustrating, don't complain, don't retreat, don't numb it with distraction. Step back, breathe, then say, "This is my training." Because every tough moment is a test, and every test is a chance to level up your mental power. Here's one of the most powerful Stoic lessons of all. You are not your emotions. You are the observer of them. Feelings are real, but they are not facts. They rise. They fall. But you get to choose how to respond. The Stoics didn't pretend they never felt anger, fear, or sadness. They just refused to become slaves to those emotions. They practiced pausing before reacting. They trained themselves to notice emotion without becoming it. That's the skill. You feel anger, but you don't snap. You feel anxiety, but you don't flee. You feel insulted, but you don't crumble. You step back, you breathe, you respond with intention, and over time, your emotions stop controlling you because you've learned to lead them. This isn't meant to scare you. It's meant to wake you up. Memento mori means, remember that you must die. The Stoics reflected on death, not to be morbid, but to be clear. When you remember that life is temporary, you stop wasting it. You stop arguing over nonsense. You stop chasing shallow approval. You stop postponing your dreams. You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do, say, and think. Marcus Aurelius. You don't control how long you live, but you do control how deeply you live. Right now. Live like it matters. Because it does. Another Stoic principle most people misunderstand. Detachment isn't apathy. It's freedom. When you're attached to outcomes, you suffer. When you're attached to people's opinions, you shrink. When you're attached to comfort, you weaken. But when you release that need to control how things turn out, you become mentally untouchable. Detachment doesn't mean you stop caring. It means you stop clinging. It means you show up fully without being owned by the result. That's what true confidence looks like. Not obsession, not control, just calm, consistent action, with no emotional leash. That's what stoic presence feels like: grounded, stable, unbothered. The stoic mind doesn't chase chaos. It protects peace, fiercely, not because it's weak, but because it's strategic. Arguing with fools, a waste of time. Getting triggered by trolls, a drain on energy. Reacting to every problem that shows up, a distraction from your purpose. Epictetus said, "If someone succeeds in provoking you, realize that your mind is complicit in the provocation." The strong don't rise to every challenge, they rise above it. You can't control what the world throws at you, but you can control whether or not you give it your peace. Train yourself to protect that peace like your most valuable asset, because it is. You don't become stoic by reading quotes. You become stoic by living them, daily. It's not about pretending to be wise. It's about putting your mind under pressure and choosing to stay grounded. When something goes wrong, you train. When someone insults you, you train. When you feel fear, doubt, or frustration, you train. The world is your gym. Every situation is a set. Every emotion is a representative. And your mindset? That's your muscle. Most people react. You respond. Most people panic. You pause. Most people drift. You direct. That's the difference. So here's your challenge. Don't just understand stoicism. Become it. When the world shakes, you stay still. When emotions rise, you remain grounded. When comfort calls, you choose discipline. That's how you earn quiet confidence. That's how you build a powerful mind. Not by pretending you don't feel, but by choosing how you respond. That's real strength. That's daily power. That's the stoic path. Subscribe to the Mental Gym and train your mind every single day.